The Whisper in the French Quarter. It was supposed to be a fun trip. That's what Maya kept telling herself as the plane descended over the glowing lights of New Orleans. She and her younger brother Caleb had planned this getaway for months. Music, food, history, a break from their exhausting lives. They rented a small historic townhouse in the French Quarter, just 3 blocks from Bourbon Street. The listing bragged about authentic 1800s architecture and original hardwood floors. It didn't mention anything about the whispering. The first night felt normal. Jazz drifted through the humid air. Laughter echoed from distant bars. Horse-drawn carriages rolled slowly past iron-laced balconies wrapped in vines. Their rental was beautiful. Brick walls, tall windows, antique mirrors, and a narrow staircase that curved upward like something from another century. Caleb claimed the upstairs bedroom. Maya took the one below. Around 2:17 a.m., Maya woke up. Not from noise. From the feeling that someone was standing beside her bed. Her eyes opened slowly. The room was dark except for faint moonlight slipping through the curtains. And that's when she heard it. A whisper. Soft. Close. Right next to her ear. Leave. She bolted upright. The room was empty. Her heart pounded so hard she thought she might pass out. She switched on the bedside lamp. The light flooded the room. Nothing. No open windows. No movement. No sign of anyone. She grabbed her phone. 2:18 a.m. Just a dream, she muttered. Upstairs, she heard footsteps. Slow. Measured. Back and forth. Caleb. Annoyed, she climbed the narrow staircase and knocked on his door. The footsteps stopped. Caleb, she called. No answer. She opened the door. He was asleep. Completely still. She stepped inside. Why were you pacing? His eyes fluttered open. I wasn't. She froze. I heard footsteps. He stared at her, confused. I've been out cold. She stood there in silence. Then, a single knock echoed from downstairs. 3 slow taps. They both heard it. They stared at each other. Another knock. From the front door. But it wasn't urgent. It wasn't aggressive. It sounded deliberate. Caleb grabbed his phone and turned on the flashlight. They moved carefully down the staircase together. The knock stopped. The living room was still. Maya approached the door. She checked the peephole. No one. She unlocked it anyway and opened it. The street outside was empty. Silent. Too silent. No music. No carriages. No laughter. The entire French Quarter, which had been alive hours earlier, now felt abandoned. A cold breeze passed through the doorway. And with it came the whisper again. This time not in her ear, but from behind her. Leave. She spun around. Nothing. Caleb slammed the door shut. You heard that too, right? He nodded slowly. They didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, everything seemed normal again. Tourists flooded the streets. Music played. The world felt alive. Maya tried to brush it off. Until she noticed something strange. The mirror in the hallway. It was tall. Ornate. Framed in dark wood carved with intricate designs. She hadn't paid much attention to it before. But now, there were fingerprints on the glass. From the inside. Pressed outward. As if someone had been trapped behind it. She stepped closer. The fingerprints were small. Child-sized. Caleb came up behind her. You didn't do that, right? She shook her head. Suddenly, the surface of the mirror rippled. Not cracked. Not moved. Rippled. Like water disturbed by a stone. And for a split second, a face appeared in the reflection. Pale. Sunken eyes. Mouth open in a silent scream. Then it was gone. The mirror was normal again. Maya staggered backward. Caleb swore under his breath. I think we should leave, he said quietly. But Maya hesitated. She didn't know why. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was something else entirely. Let's at least ask the owner about the history of this place, she said. They found the host's contact information and called. An older woman answered. When Maya mentioned the address, the woman went quiet. How much do you know about New Orleans history? She asked slowly. Not much. The woman sighed. That townhouse was built in 1839. Okay. It was used during the yellow fever outbreak. Maya felt her stomach drop. It temporarily housed infected children. Silence. Many of them didn't survive. The air in the room suddenly felt heavier. Records say some of the children were quarantined inside certain rooms, sealed in to prevent the spread. Maya slowly turned toward the hallway mirror. Sealed in, she whispered. Yes. Caleb's voice trembled. What happened to them? The woman's reply came barely above a whisper. They died inside. The call ended soon after. Neither of them moved. The house creaked softly. And then, upstairs, a child's footsteps. Running. Back and forth. Back and forth. And this time, they were not alone in hearing it. The thing that followed. They packed within the hour. No arguing.
No second-guessing.
No pride left to defend. By noon, Maya and Caleb were dragging their suitcases down the narrow brick sidewalk of the French Quarter, weaving through tourists who laughed and sipped neon-colored drinks as if nothing in the world could possibly be wrong. But something was. Maya felt at the moment they stepped outside. The air wasn't heavy anymore. It was watching. Every shadow between buildings felt deeper than it should be. Every balcony above them seemed crowded with unseen eyes. Let's just get to the car, Caleb muttered. They had parked in a nearby garage. The walk should have taken 5 minutes. It felt like 20. Halfway there, Maya stopped. Do you hear that? Caleb listened. At first, nothing. Then, footsteps. Not in front of them. Not behind. Beside them. Keeping pace. They both turned sharply. The sidewalk was packed with strangers.
No one looking at them.
No one suspicious. But the footsteps continued.
Step. Step. Step.
Exactly in sync with their own. Caleb quickened his pace. The footsteps quickened too. They both broke into a near jog. The sound followed. Perfect rhythm. Like something invisible walking between them. They didn't speak again until they reached the parking garage. Inside, it was dim and echoing. Concrete pillars stretched into shadow. Their car sat near the back. Maya pressed the unlock button. The headlights flashed. For a brief second, something moved in the back seat. Caleb saw it too. They both froze. Tell me that was just a shadow, he whispered. Maya didn't answer. She slowly approached the driver's side. The windows were tinted, but she could still make out the interior. Empty. She yanked the door open. Nothing inside. They checked the back seats anyway. Nothing. They both exhaled shakily. You're imagining things, Caleb said, though he sounded like he was convincing himself. They got in, locked the doors,
and drove.
The further they got from the French Quarter, the lighter Maya felt. By the time they crossed the Mississippi River Bridge, she almost laughed at herself. Maybe we just freaked each other out, she said. Caleb nodded. Old house. Weird noises. Creepy history. Our brains filled in the rest. They decided to head north, away from the city, away from the townhouse. They booked a hotel outside Baton Rouge.
Modern. Bright.
Recently renovated. No antique mirrors. No history. Just clean, sterile safety. When they checked in, everything seemed fine. The lobby was busy. The receptionist smiled. Families dragged luggage across polished tile floors. Normal. Completely normal. They took the elevator up to the 6th floor. As the door slid shut, Maya caught a glimpse of something in the reflection. Behind them, standing in the back corner of the elevator, a small figure, head tilted unnaturally to one side. She whipped around. The elevator was empty except for them. Stop doing that, Caleb snapped suddenly. Doing what? Looking like that. Like what? Like you're seeing something? She swallowed. I'm not. The elevator dinged. 6th floor. The doors opened. No one there. But the hallway lights flickered. Just once. Then steadied. Their room was clean. Neutral. Forgettable. Exactly what they needed. They both dropped onto the beds and just lay there for a moment. Silence. Relief. Then, The bathroom door slowly creaked open. Neither of them had touched it. They stared at it. The hinges whined softly as the door opened fully. Maya stood up slowly. Air pressure, Caleb said too quickly. She stepped toward the bathroom. The light was off. The mirror above the sink reflected her pale face. And behind her, the shower curtain twitched. She froze. The curtain twitched again.
Slowly.
Like something brushing against it from the inside. Her voice came out barely audible. Caleb. He stood up. Don't. The curtain jerked violently. Then went still. Maya forced herself forward. She grabbed the edge of the curtain.
Pulled it back.
The shower was empty.
Dry.
No footprints. No water. Nothing. Caleb let out a shaky breath. This is getting stupid. He grabbed his phone. I'm setting up my camera. He propped it on the dresser, aimed at the room. If something moves, we'll see it. Maya nodded. They left the lights on. They weren't taking chances. Eventually, exhaustion won. They both fell asleep. At 3:11 a.m., the hotel's fire alarm went off.
Shrill.
Piercing. Maya jolted upright. Caleb swore loudly. They rushed into the hallway with other guests. Confused faces. Pajamas.
Panic.
The alarm echoed through the building. They shuffled toward the stairwell. But Maya stopped. At the far end of the hallway, near the emergency exit, stood a small figure. Completely still. No adult beside it. No parent. Just a child-sized silhouette. Head tilted. Watching her. She felt her breath leave her body. The hallway lights flickered again. And when they steadied, the figure was closer. Much closer. Only a few doors away now. No footsteps. No sound. Just there. Caleb grabbed her arm. What are you staring at? She couldn't speak. The fire alarm abruptly stopped. Silence fell over the hallway. Guests murmured in confusion. A hotel employee appeared from the stairwell. False alarm, folks.
Sorry about that.
System glitch. The crowd slowly dispersed. Maya looked back down the hallway. The figure was gone. Back inside their room, Caleb checked his phone. There was no fire, he said. None. No smoke. No triggered sensors. Nothing. Maya walked to the dresser and picked up the camera. Let's see what it recorded. They sat on the bed and played the footage. At first, nothing unusual. Them sleeping. Stillness. Then, at exactly 3:09 a.m., 2 minutes before the alarm, the bathroom light turned on. By itself. The bathroom door opened slowly. And something stepped out. The camera didn't fully capture it. It moved too fast. A blur. Low to the ground. But it wasn't human. Its limbs were too long. Its head too tilted. It moved toward Caleb's bed.
Stopped.
And leaned down, as if examining him. Maya covered her mouth. The thing then turned its head toward the camera. Though its face was distorted by motion, two dark, hollow eyes were clearly visible. Then, it rushed directly at the camera. The footage glitched violently. And cut out. The fire alarm sounded seconds later. The final frame froze on something chilling. The mirror across the room. And, in its reflection, the child stood clearly. Unblurred. Pale skin. Sunken eyes. And a cracked, splitting smile. Caleb shut off the video. Neither of them spoke. Finally, Maya whispered the question neither wanted to say aloud. It didn't stay in New Orleans, did it? Caleb's voice trembled.
No.
The bathroom light flickered again. And from somewhere inside the room came the softest whisper yet. Not leave. Not this time. This time it said, home. What followed them home?
They didn't sleep again that night.
By sunrise, the hotel room felt smaller. Not physically, but spiritually. Like the walls were leaning inward, listening. Caleb replayed the footage 3 more times. Each viewing made it worse. The figure hadn't just looked at the camera. It had known the camera was there. And when it rushed forward, it wasn't reacting. It was deliberate. Maya sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the bathroom door. Pack, she said quietly. They didn't check out properly. They left the key cards on the dresser and walked out without speaking to anyone. The drive home was silent, but something had changed. The car felt occupied. Not visibly, not physically, but undeniably. Every time Maya glanced at the rearview mirror, she expected to see something sitting in the back seat. Once she almost did. A blur in the reflection. A suggestion of a face. But when she turned fully, nothing. They arrived home just after noon. The house looked normal.
Bright. Calm. Safe.
Caleb unlocked the door. The air inside was cool and still. Familiar. For a moment, they both stood in the doorway, afraid to cross the threshold. Because, what if it wasn't inside yet? What if stepping in invited it? "You're overthinking," Kayla muttered. They walked in. Everything was exactly how they left it. Kitchen untouched. Couch cushions in place. Windows closed. Maya felt foolish. Maybe the hotel footage had been a glitch. Maybe exhaustion and fear had twisted what they saw. Maybe. A soft thump came from upstairs. They froze. Another thump.
Slow.
Measured. Footsteps. But too heavy for a child. Caleb swallowed. "We don't have kids," he said, as if the house needed reminding. The footsteps moved across the ceiling, from one end of the hallway to the other, then stopped directly above them. Silence. Maya's voice barely worked. "It followed us." The upstairs bedroom door creaked open. They both heard it, wood scraping softly against wood. Then, a sound neither of them expected. A giggle. Not loud. Not playful.
Wrong.
Distorted. Layered, like two voices speaking at once. Caleb grabbed the nearest thing he could find, a fireplace poker. Not because he believed it would help, but because doing nothing felt worse. They climbed the stairs slowly. Every step groaned under their weight. The hallway at the top was dim. The bedroom door at the end was wide open. The air was colder up there. Visibly colder. Their breath fogged. Maya stopped. On the wall, above the bedroom doorway, were handprints.
Small.
Blackened. As if burned into the paint. And they were fresh. Caleb stepped inside first. The room was empty, but the closet door was slightly ajar. He approached it carefully. The door slowly creaked wider. On its own. Inside. Darkness.
Thick.
Dense. Too deep for a shallow closet. Maya whispered, "Don't." But Caleb reached forward and yanked the light string. The bulb flickered on. The closet was normal. Clothes hanging. Shoes lined up. Nothing unusual. They both exhaled. Then the closet light snapped off. Pitch black. And something moved inside.
Fast.
A shape darting across the back wall. Not cast by shadow. Not created by light. It was three-dimensional.
Solid.
It lunged forward. The closet door slammed shut violently. The force knocked Caleb backward. Maya screamed. The house lights flickered. Downstairs, something shattered.
Glass.
They heard it clearly. Caleb scrambled up.
Out, he said.
They ran downstairs. The living room window had exploded inward. Glass littered the floor. But there was no impact point. No rock. No object. Just broken glass. And standing in the center of the room was the child. Fully visible now. Not a blur. Not a shadow. Pale skin stretched too tightly over sharp features. Eyes completely black. Veins faintly visible beneath translucent flesh. Its neck tilted too far to one side, as if broken long ago. It wasn't tall, but it didn't feel small. It stared at them, unblinking. Maya felt her knees weaken. Caleb couldn't breathe. The child opened its mouth and spoke. Not in a whisper. Not layered.
Clear.
Single voice. "You brought me." Maya shook her head violently.
No.
"No, we didn't. We left you there." The child's lips stretched wider. "You opened the door. The townhouse. The hallway. The bedroom door that creaked open before the alarm ever sounded." Caleb felt ice crawl down his spine. "We closed it," he said weakly. The child's eyes darkened further. "You don't close doors." The room temperature dropped instantly. The walls seemed to pulse. The air thickened like water. Maya realized something horrifying. This wasn't a ghost attached to a place. It wasn't bound to New Orleans. It wasn't bound to the townhouse. It was bound to them. It hadn't been waiting in that house. It had been waiting for someone to see it, to acknowledge it, to react, to fear it. Fear was the invitation. The child tilted its head back upright slowly, bones cracking audibly as it did. "You looked," it said. The broken window behind it began to mend. Glass shards lifting off the floor, reassembling midair, sealing the frame shut. The closet upstairs slammed open again. Footsteps thundered across the ceiling. Not small ones. Many. Heavy. Running. Something else was here now. Something larger. The child stepped closer. Its feet never touched the floor. It hovered slightly above it. "You're home," it said softly. Caleb grabbed Maya's hand. "What do you want?" he demanded. The child stopped inches away, close enough for them to see faint bruising around its throat, like fingers had once wrapped there. The air filled with a low humming, the same frequency they'd heard in the townhouse hallway, the same vibration, the thing in the closet, the heavy footsteps upstairs. This child wasn't the worst part. It was the door. And something was still coming through. The child's mouth opened impossibly wide, wider than bone should allow. From the darkness inside its mouth came a second voice.
Deep.
Ancient.
Hungry.
"You opened us." The lights exploded. Every bulb in the house burst simultaneously. Darkness swallowed everything. Maya felt Caleb's hand ripped from hers. She screamed his name. Silence answered. Then, a soft whisper in her ear. "Don't look." The same words from the beginning. Too late. She opened her eyes and realized she was no longer in her house. She was back in the French Quarter hallway, alone. The townhouse door standing open at the end. The alarm blaring. The door slowly widening. And from inside, multiple silhouettes standing in the darkness. Waiting. Watching. Smiling. Some doors aren't attached to places. Some hauntings don't stay where they start. And some ghosts don't need a house. They just need someone willing to look.